Good evening, Agenda Rights. It's Monday, the 9th of December. Um, we've already spoken about the Nottingham Forest debacle. So we'll only ask Tyrone about that, to be fair. Oh, Yabba wasn't there yesterday. He was all right. We'll have a couple of minutes on that topic. But look, I'm joined today by Bath Time as usual. Yabba when he feels like it. And Tyrone. Bath Time, how
Good
you doing,
evening.
man?
Good evening. Good evening.
How you doing, Bath Time?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
Yabba. How you doing, man?
I just need to get to my wallet and get my cards out. There's a yellow card for you, Mr. D, and a red card for you, Bath Time, as well. For these digs. For the digs. Boots, you're putting the boots in on me. You're putting some boots in on me. I've noticed it. But anyway, I'm not too bad, yeah. Big up Mr. B, big up Bath Time, big up all the Agenda, and we got a special guest on tonight as well, so I'm delighted about that.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for the special guest, we'll introduce Tyrone. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you all doing, man? How you all doing? You all good?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Tyrone. Obviously, me and Bath Time had our long chat. To be fair, Saturday's game. Thoughts?
I think it doesn't matter what tactics you give the players to perform. It doesn't really matter how well you prepare. When you have individual errors, like we saw like on Saturday, you're always going to lose the game. So I can't blame the manager. The only thing I can do is like look on the players again, and like, Onana, what were you doing, man? Come on.
Yeah. Yabba.
Yeah, I just echo what Tyron's saying. I mean, we're getting over it. I was really disappointed. I mean, that's a game that if you want to turn things around and have that momentum, that's a game you need to be winning. Forest, pretty good, solid outfit, but nothing special. I don't see them sort of last in the course for the 38 games of the season. They're going to have their dips and all that. They haven't got a big squad, but we really just, it's like taking a running kick to the bollocks. That's how it feels. It's really like disappointing. Like Tyrone said, with the goalkeeper error and the conceding on corner again. There's a lot of things that has to be sorted out, and it makes you wonder. Obviously, I was back in Ten Hag in a way, not in a way, but saying it's a lot to do with the players. I think he's a good manager, but it's about getting the trick out of the players. How do we get the best out of these players? How do you get them to perform or switch on and not make mistakes? It's tough. So Amarin's got a tough job ahead of him, and especially now that it's crumbling on top. All with the Ineos crew, they're all sort of falling out as well. So hopefully we can fix things.
All right, look, let me say a couple of howdies before we get on to Bath Time's favourite topic. Andrew, I hope you're doing well, man. Jeff, big up all Bath Time happy dancers into the studio. They know it's you, they know it's you, Bath Time. And Andrew Williams is just saying, boy chucks. Stephanie is bigging up us, giving us all a howdy. Trevor Fever, welcome, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Who else is in here? Let's have a look. Here we go. Stephanie's got Andrew. United couldn't see the wood for the trees on Saturday. Forest gumped us, and they kept running unlike United. Yeah,
very good.
We've got 9 likes going on at the moment. Hopefully, those will increase before the show finishes. Sunday morning, I get a let me see. Let me just get the time. Let me get the time in. Sunday morning at 8 something or other. I just don't know what time it no. Anyway, it was bloody early Bath Time. I get a telegram message. He's gone or something like that. I'm thinking, what's he? Then he posted Bath Time. What did you do? What did you say to what did you say in your phone call to Ratcliffe that got
Look, just before we get into this, I do have a question for Yabba about the game, if I may.
And yeah, of course.
And then we'll really get the party started. And believe me, I am having a party. 20 years in the making, boys. Yeah, but I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on Delict and Yoro at the weekend, and also I was really impressed with Maguire when he came on. And Tyrone, obviously, you can chime in as well, but just, like Yoro, like I think I'd said to Mr. B that he reminded me of a fencer. Like he was trying to be clean and elegant, and needs to wise up pretty fast.
Well, he's got age, isn't he? He's very young. He's new to the Premier League, and he's got a lot of potential. I mean, we've seen it. He's athletic. He's fast. Good read of the game. He likes to play it out from the back. He's good on the ball as well. So really good attributes to go with. But what comes with that is the Premier League experience. He hasn't got it. You can't, no matter where you come from. I can't think of a league that can prepare you for the Premier League, and especially playing in defence. He came on against Arsenal the other day as a sort of debut, and that was tough. And it's a big introduction to the league, and so he's going to have to wisen up really fast. I don't think he performed the greatest. I think he was a bit naive, but it's not like he's Maguire's age, is it? This is why experience is so important. But I'm really enthusiastic about the future with him. I think he can improve and get tougher. Just get rid of them. Remember Rio Ferdinand had the braids and he went back to a bald head.
Yeah.
I think defenders shouldn't be pretty. You need to get rough and tough and dirty. And I think you need to sort of be like, when I say rough, tough, dirty, you need to rough people up and make people fear you, saying, boy, is he on my back or anything like that. He's too like, I'm going to
What does that have to do with hair?
Just for me, it's just an image for me. It doesn't show me he's a hard man. You know, he looks like a pretty boy.
Do you look like a hard man or a pretty boy, Mr. Centre?
Well, I got dreadlocks, you know, and I got a growling face as well when I play. And I don't make friends, Mr. B, like you. You walk around with a big frown and a mean face. I know you, I know you do, Mr. And I'm sure Tyrone will back me up on this. But Tyrone, isn't it true? When you turn up at football, you want to be like, let people know. You hear them talking about you. Pick up the five. Pick up the five. What about pick up the big man? And I'm the big man. I'm the big man. And what? Don't talk to me, son. You know. So that's the kind of attitude that you need to get, because you can't just be tidying, like picking up the ball or pinching the ball and neat and tidy all the time. You have to get rough and ready. Yeah. And even if you take a little tip from Martinez, a bit OTT with it, but it needs to be better. And as for the lit, I think Maguire should lead the way, and De Ligt and these new boys into Prem should follow his lead. Tyrone.
I'll be honest with regards to De Ligt, because I actually think he's going to end up being a very, very good defender for Man United. I think he's got all the attributes to do really well. I think where I prefer him to Maguire is like he's got that recovery pace to kind of get himself out of mistakes, whereas sometimes Maguire can be a bit too slow, especially when people get in behind us. With regards to Yoro, I know he needs to improve, but we have to remember he's only 18, 19. We're not going to see the best of him until he gets into his early 20s. So I think if we're expecting him to come in and do really well straight away, we're kidding ourselves. He's way too young.
But he needs the game time, so we're going to play.
Yeah. You do need the game time, but I don't want to be depending on Yoro straight away.
Can I just, Tyrone? You mentioned Yoro, and you brought Maguire into it to say Yoro's got pace and Maguire hasn't. So you put the boots in on Maguire. Can you talk about De Ligt now, and mention Maguire as well this time on a positive?
No, I said De Ligt's got I was saying De Ligt's got the recovery pace. He's quicker than you.
Oh, you think? De Ligt's got the recovery pace, and Maguire has. Yeah. So in a foot race, you think De Ligt's faster than Maguire?
Yes.
I'm with Yabba on this.
My God! Please, sorry, guys in the chat.
I'm shocked.
I know. There's only a few of us in here.
Maguire is slow.
I'm with Tyrone. Please, De Ligt.
Have you seen De Ligt's spies? De Ligt's got tree trunk legs.
No, but he's quick though. I've seen him play.
He's not very quick.
Come on,
guys in the chat. Who's quicker, Maguire or De Ligt? Please.
Keep in mind, Mr. B, it's not just about being quick, it's about reading the game. When you're not as quick as Maguire, and De Ligt might not be the quickest, but I think Maguire's still quicker than him. But when you're not that quick, you still need to be able to read the game to avoid getting those situations. But I think Maguire wouldn't lose to him.
I don't know who is slower, but they are roughly the same pace. to me. Like that,
Yeah,
you know, their pace is about the same. The big difference I see between them is I haven't seen De Ligt do what I've seen Maguire do in 2 consecutive matches now, which is nip in front of a player, get the ball, and drive up the pitch. Like he did it against Arsenal when he looked like a velociraptor or a brontosaurus, like very slowly charging down the wing. And he did it against Forest a couple of times. And I think that I would like to see De Ligt doing that, because otherwise, I think Maguire is, maybe it's because of Premier League experience. I just think he's a level above De Ligt at the moment.
That's what I put it down to more. If he does do anything better, it's because of experience, and De Ligt's going to get that within a year. I just don't see Maguire. But maybe it's my biased opinion on Maguire, but I don't see Maguire being a better defender than De Ligt. I just
neither
don't see
do I. He's so slow at playing the ball out as well, Maguire. He invites pressure. So slow, it just the game's so sluggish when he's playing it out.
That's a myth.
No, but I'm just saying what I've watched. Like, yeah, but like when I'm seeing him play the ball, I'm thinking, why are you taking so long? Just play it out quick. He's very irritating to watch, Maguire. Sorry.
What you've done, Tyrone? Like you said, you talked about Euro, and you said Maguire is quicker. I think you said that, or maybe then you.
No, I was saying De Ligt was quicker than Maguire.
So when you're talking about attributes, you were saying De Ligt is quick. You were basically saying De Ligt's quick, and I think that's a myth as well. I don't think he's rapid like that.
No, he's Maguire, not rapid. He's not rapid, but he's not as slow as Maguire for me. I've never seen him.
All right, okay. I misunderstood what you're saying, but I still think Maguire gets a raw deal because I don't think he's that slow.
I think for me, right, I understand that there's a lot of frustration when you see a player taking a lot of touches on the ball. You have to kind of see like the centre-backs in some ways, the playmakers now in modern football, because the reason that they're being slow is that they are trying to commit a man. Because you'll often hear people say we need to move the ball faster. It's very rarely true you need to move the ball faster. What you need to do is you need to commit other players faster, because you're not trying to move the ball around the pitch, you're trying to move players around the pitch. So both De Ligt and Maguire are going to frustrate at times, like in the last line.
Like De Ligt did to you on Saturday when you said that he took all day to play the pass.
Yeah.
And I said he was waiting, and then
they scored
it, boom, 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 and we scored.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
And I could hear the crowd going, oh, but it's like, no, hold on. Let's slow it up, control the game, and then we went and scored. I thought, what are the crowd going to say now? That's what I just don't.
Are you fighting the crowd now? Are you?
No, you can hear it. You can hear it in the crowd. They were like, oh, going backwards again, slowing it down, and then suddenly, bam, through the lines, bam, 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 and we scored a goal. And I'm thinking, I bet it's someone like Paddy, starting that sort of sighing from the sidelines. Remember Paddy? Paddy's sort of guy would do that.
Discretion.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just not good enough, yabba. Yeah, maybe. But the thing is that like I think that like I like the ball being played into the midfield as quickly as you can, and then let midfielders get on with stuff, because I think that the role of a defender now is absolutely ridiculous. They've got, like, according to Twitter, they've got to be faster than a striker. They've got to be able to sort of pass like Zidane. And then they've got to be able to defend. It's nonsense. Like I would just like to see the ball hitting hard to a midfielder like Bruno or Kobe, who's there to be able to control the ball, maybe get on the half turn, but to do something with it. And I'm not a huge fan of like messing about at the back. Like we always have this argument about how I don't like teams playing out from the back, certainly not teams that I play in. Let's get it up the pitch and fight for it.
Agile Beast, thank you very much. De Ligt, 32.81. I have no idea what speed this is. Maybe it is very, very slow, but De Ligt is quicker. And this
I'm not having that.
This is according to the Google machine. And
I'm not having that.
Oh well, look,
I think
I'm
that
not,
those are pretty similar speeds, to be honest.
they are, but
No, that
They
makes a
diff-
difference. That extra two.
Yeah,
of course it does.
only over an hour, Tyrone. Do you know what I mean?
All right, look, I have the speed wise. We don't know what we don't know what that is, but look, we've all decided that it's not the quickest. But look, Solo in the house. I know he's going to be popping in and out. Welcome. Just hit the like button before you piss off, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, look, we've agreed that they're both pretty slow. All right, that's fine. Whether I think time will tell whether Dillit does become a better defender than Maguire. But Dillit, there's a little bit with Dillit being linked with this Ashworth this Ashworth departure. So I'm just gonna say a little bit. I'll drop the Dillit bit in, and then we'll leave it to you guys. Bath time, please keep your rant really short for me.
Right.
Thank you very much. So it seems, as obviously the news broke very early yesterday, as I was saying, Bath time messaged me very early yesterday with the news. And after, obviously, you know, you wait for the mess to cool down and for bits to come out. But it seems like what a couple of the reasons, or one of the two, was the summer transfer window, and Xerxes, we all knew, to be fair. But Dillit's name also came up as the two transfers that it seems that Ineos weren't happy with. Those signings seems to have been made to placate Ten Hag. And obviously that decision seems like it was on the head of Ashworth. Whether or not that was the final straw, the straw that broke the camel's back, who knows? But obviously with it being the summer signings, I just said everybody's going to have a different opinion. I think the agreement is Xerxes hasn't hit the ground running. But maybe he wasn't involved in the Mazraoui deal. And the other three that came in that all seemed to be quite positive. And although, all right, Euro hasn't played. But what are your feelings? Oh, should I ask? Yeah, you know, I am going to ask you both time. What are your feelings on the decision that was made? Obviously, we paid 2 million to get him out of Newcastle, made him sit down in his garden for 3 months, 4 months, and then we've employed him, and he's gone. What's your thoughts, man?
I couldn't be happier. Just imagine Christmas at the Ashworths. Like, yeah, like it's been about 25 years. I'm still not over it. My father is still is still not over this, and I'm delighted to think that he will never like get employment at a top club again. I'm glad it's public. Like, I'm real Schadenfreude going on with me. But I'm 100% behind Ineos now. But I think that like with my personal feelings aside, I think it's probably quite good in terms of that. It's very clear that like Ratcliffe was completely underwhelmed with Ashworth, that he thought he was getting a 10 out of 10 person, someone that was going to do everything. And then when he asked, like, look, should we keep, like, we've got to get rid of Ten Hag, surely. Ashworth was like, no, we sort of can back him a bit. They spent 200 million in the summer. They got Mazraoui and De Ligt in. They got Ugarte, which took bloody forever, and then Ten Hag never really played him. They got Xerxes. He turned up overweight. And, you know, apart from his debut, from 10 minutes in his debut, he hasn't really looked like a good investment. And it's a bit crazy, to be honest, that we're so broke. We've now gone and got a manager who plays a completely different system, and we need massive investment in the squad. But from what I read today, they said he asked Ashworth, like, look, who are we getting in? And he said, well, I think we could get Potter in as the interim, and we can look at Silva at Fulham, Southgate, Thomas Frank, and all these very, very unexciting names. And then he said, but if we get Potter in, we can we can outsource to a company to do the due diligence. And
I think that was another nail in his coffin. Sorry.
Yeah, and Ratcliffe hit the roof. Like, this is what you're for. We had a very prolonged, like, negotiation to get you out. You've cost, like, you gave, like, Ten Hag's contract extension cost about 12 million, I think, to sack him and the staff. Gave him 200 million. We then had to go and spend however much it was to get Amarin out. It's been a disaster, like, at the club. And I kind of like the idea that if this is the attitude that we're going to take with the executives, maybe we might be taking that attitude with the players. And that would be very pleasing, I think, certainly to Yabba, the way he's bouncing his head.
Yeah. Go on. Yabba, talk, man.
Yeah. Here in Bath Town, I've been looking forward to this. What are you going to say? Ashworth making bad decisions. Yes, that is the theme of tonight. And the theme of the last 25 years, according to Bath Town. If anyone doesn't know, Ashworth turned down Bath Town as a footballer.
He lied. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, he lied. So just remind us, please, what happened there.
Well, it was about, like, you played in the Norwich Cup, didn't you? When you're about
Canary Cup.
Yeah, but like about 12, 13?
Yeah.
Like around that sort of time. Like, and he was at Peterborough United then, and as a 12 or 13-year-old, he had told my father that, like, you know, it was a bit small, bit weak, but they were gonna, like, pick us up and do something with me. And then he sent another employee to tell my father, after he had told me that, you know, I was going to be a posh boy at Peterborough, that it wasn't going to happen. And I've held a grudge against him ever since. What a toad of a man. Lying little goblin.
All right,
now you got the backstory.
So the thing with Ashworth, I was nodding because I agree with Bath Town. I think if you're making key decisions like this, shows you ain't messing around. You know, you're fired. You're out of it. For one, I heard he came in from this gardening leave and then immediately went on holiday for a day or two or something like that. And then he was supposed to attend a meeting, one of his sort of regular meetings, and didn't turn up. You know, so there's a team of guys like us four. Imagine us four, and one of us isn't pulling it away, or there's bad harmony between us, you know, or something we're just not getting along, and it's got to get called out. You know, you're gonna have to get called out. And apparently he left. No, sorry, he didn't leave. He was fired. Am I right in saying this, Tyrone? He was actually fired. So yeah, well, so I'm down with that. I'm down with that, regardless of the cash, whatever. The main man, which is Ratcliffe, he has to, you know, say this ain't good enough. This ain't good enough. And it's not, I don't think it's necessarily about the results we're seeing. And I don't think it's necessarily about the transfers. I really don't think it's that much to be able to do a transfer. But I'm still happy with the transfer window that we had. I think Xerxes would turn out to be a good player. He's at
but
there's no one. No.
Yeah, but
we were all
celebrating. So positive.
We were all celebrating.
I get it. Yeah, but
I was not. Yeah, but do not put me in this. I said it was a 4 out of 10 transfer
even
window.
when players are really shit, you're still, they'll come good. They'll come good. Sometimes things just ain't gonna work, bro.
Mr. B, it's too early. With that, what? A few months in, how many games he's played? He scored 3 goals in how many minutes? You know, and this is a guy who didn't score that many goals.
How much games do you think he's gonna play?
He didn't score that many goals in Italy, but he scored 3 goals in how many minutes he's played since he's been here. Not when Haaland came last year, we were talking about the same thing. Oh, he's not scoring. Then he went on a run and scored, but no one's calling him prolific, are they? I'm looking at the future. This is someone we can develop and make a better player at a club if we do things the right way. And De Ligt. I'm happy De Ligt. I think De Ligt has got a good CV coming from, you know, he's a good leader as well. I think he will be a good player for us. Not saying he's going to be great, but he's a good signing. You got to also consider what's available. Who's available to us? It's not like we're going to be signing Mbappe and all these top guys. They're out of our league. So we have to work with what's available. So I don't know if it's to do with that. I just think it's to do with personality. He's come in. He's obviously upset the guys in their in the office or in around Ineos with them boys. He doesn't get on with them. Word's been given back. Apparently, Wilcox and Bereda get on, and they've said, "No, this guy ain't doing nothing around here, and he ain't worth the trouble." And to make decisions so soon is a good thing. Let him go, and we can move on. Isn't that right, Tyrone?
I think it's a positive decision that Ratcliffe has brought him in and decided, it's not working. I'm going to be ruthless and sack him straight away. But I'll still have to question his and David Brailsford's decision to bring him in the first place. Why on earth? What was it? What did Dan Ashworth do in the world of football for Man United to go and get him? Was he ever the best in class? I don't think so. Do you know what I mean?
So do we need the best in class? I mean, this best in class thing now, I think they should just bin that.
No, but Mr. B. But where was the evidence that he had built world class winning teams that win Champions Leagues and titles?
Yeah, but this whole thing is best in class. Since Ineos have come in, the whole ethos has been best in class. We've got Xerxes. Yeah, he's not best in class. They've got Ashworth, who they've just shown isn't best in class. But I knew it. But I brought him up because he's probably the worst of the 4-5 signings that we got. And he's the one who's always been linked with being away. I couldn't say it about Euro. He hasn't played. I could say it about De Ligt, which you would have agreed with, but I wanted to see your face when I said Xerxes, to be fair. I think there's could there be, do you think as time goes on, obviously they sign these, what's the NDA, the
non-disclosure agreement,
right?
Yeah.
So they sign those. So maybe we're not gonna find
the truth,
the full truth. But I think little bits may well be leaked out. Do you think there's other things going on? Because I know Andrew's a non-believer at the moment as to the stories that are going on. Do you think there's more?
I think Andrew's raised some really good points about the PR spin. Because Ineos, I'll be honest with you guys, I do not trust Ratcliffe, man. When we were all linked with a new owner coming in, I wanted someone to come in, make the club debt free, and pump his own money into the club and do it that way. But with Ineos, what are they going to really do for us? It's going to take far too long. I wish he hadn't got involved. I wish Ratcliffe hadn't got involved in the process, because we could have had Qatar now, and I bet we'd be in a much better position.
Yeah, but they were invisible. Do we even know that Qatar? Do you think they existed? Come on, man. We know. We saw all the stories afterwards. It was invisible. He was just a front for somebody else. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows that? I'm just throwing that out there, being a wanker, to be fair.
No, you're correct, because it was in the SEC, in the filings that were posted, that he couldn't provide proof of funds. See? Plus, we'd be in an absolute political nightmare if we had Qatar at the moment. Our allies in the Middle East, such as the Saudi Arabians, would have put so much pressure to stop that deal going through. Ratcliffe has put the maximum that he can into the club, which is 300 million under FFP rules. The Qataris wouldn't have been able to put more of that money in. And when Ratcliffe came in, the team that he assembled, particularly Yabba's mate Blanc, experience at PSG and so on, Brailsworth with good links to England, which is how he ended up with Ashworth. And Ashworth's CV, I think, Tyrone, is from West Brom and from Brighton. And he did okay there for accountancy. Would you be excited if we got, say, the Borussia Dortmund director of football in?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's just, you want someone to come in who's got a track record of bringing in good players. I know for a fact that, especially with Newcastle, Ashworth wasn't responsible for a lot of the good players coming into Newcastle.
So what was he? So what was he actually brought in for then? If that wasn't his strength, what was he actually brought in for then?
Well, what's the job? What's his job title? And what's this person's specification of his job title? That's what he's brought in for, to do that job.
He's sporting director.
So there you go. So what sporting director basically brings him, is assigned to sort out the scouting network, and bring in players. The technical director deals with the technical side of football on around the club. Sporting director deals with the area around scouting, recruitment, and bringing in and setting up networks with that sort of thing, and creating a good open door policy and getting rid of players as well. And I think at Newcastle, he was at Newcastle. Was he? I mean, Isak is a good player. He was on the market. They brought him in. I thought Tonali was a good signing. I think, even though he had a bit of scandal, the left back they got from Chelsea, these are good signings. So the track record thing, no one was this is the thing. No one was complaining about best in class. Everyone's saying, yeah, Dan Ashworth, he must be best in class. No one's well, maybe one person did. I'm sure someone's going to go, well, I said something, but the majority of people weren't saying much about Ashworth coming in. I was quite happy with him, judging from his CV. I still think it's a good CV. But clearly, for me, it's a personality clash. Something's gone wrong. You know what these big wigs are like, you know, sitting around eating caviar and, you know, getting upset about little things. Something must have upset them. And
what did upset
obviously
them,
for him to walk down.
Do you remember?
Oh, go on.
There was something that came out, which is that before the Liverpool game this season, Ten Hag received basically his second vote of confidence when Ashworth and Barada did a joint interview. And the story paraphrased is that Ratcliffe was really annoyed with them for doing the interview because they were talking about things that were legally a bit dodgy because they were both meant to be on gardening leave and not involved with the club during the time. Because both of them said that they didn't really have anything to do with Ten Hag and the vote of confidence that was given in him. Whereas it was reported in The Athletic that Ashworth was very, very for like Ten Hag staying and was in these meetings and so on. And Ratcliffe has, you know, he's kind of taken it as like they were kind of trying to pass the buck after a £200 million investment. And it's very clear that the relationship probably wasn't working out because, as you said, Brother and Wilcox worked together for 10 years, something like that, at City. And when you sort of speak to Ashworth and he gives you names like Southgate and so on, his contacts all appear to be just like Premier League stuff, and it's very telling that it was Barada that went out to get Amran, because he knew the people at Sporting. So I think that they just felt that like Ashworth is the he's the Anthony of sporting directors. Overpaid, not good enough. Like, sling your hook.
Yeah, just out of his depth. Yeah.
You're out of your element, Dolly.
So moving forward, do you think that there's going to be somebody employed really quick? Obviously, this is going to be more money spent if they're in a job already. Do you think they're going to leave it? I suppose they need a sporting director with the January transfer window coming in, and we'll get onto a couple of links in a little bit.
But Mr. B, we've got an unofficial sporting director, and it's Jorge Mendes. Like Ugarte and Yoro with our biggest deals. He's their agent. We've seen these agents do this before.
Was he their agent before the move coming, or did he just jump on the?
No, he was their agent. He was their agent beforehand, and a lot, a lot of stuff has come out that one of the reasons that we got Yoro is because we also agreed that we would pick up Ugarte, who needed a move.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. There used to be someone called like Pinny Zahiri or someone like that.
Zahavi.
Yeah, like Jose, like basically everywhere he goes. Like George Mendes is his like sporting director, and I think that basically that these people came in and filled the role that like Ashworth was meant to be doing, where they came in with a list of players that they could get and so on. And my concern now is that we're probably not going to appoint a sporting director, and that it's going to be absorbed by Wilcox and Barada and they're essentially going to outsource to someone like George Mendes, who's going to say, "These are the players that I can get you."
But do you think the outsourcing, because obviously the Ashworth part, we said the outsourcing part, and that was the part that seemed that maybe pissed off Ratcliffe. Do you think them outsourcing again is going to be another issue, or do you think it's just going to be something that has to be done because they don't have the sporting director? Yeah.
No, because it's different, right? The reason it's different is that like he was outsourcing a manager. And my reading of the situation is that his suggestion was, let's get Graham Potter in. I know him, great lad, really good, as an interim till the end of the season. And then let's do our due diligence on this shortlist here that had like, Silver at Fulham and Frank at Brentford. And, Ratcliffe is 73. Everyone hates him at the moment for for basically trying to sort out the Glazers' mess of cutting costs and increasing revenue. Unfortunately, it's the fans that are paying for that. But that's very different to outsourcing player transfers, in my mind. I don't know what you think, Yabba.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be absorbed by the staff. I think I heard Bereda was going to take care of things. I think they're not going to be underprepared. I don't think fans should be worried with the January transfer window coming up that we haven't got a short list of players. I think you can also look at Amarin. I mean, he's so, confident with what he does. He knows football. He knows Portuguese football. He's got links there. Maybe he's got links to players who are very good in that sort of world football with Sporting and Spain and that kind of thing as well. So maybe he can make suggestions like Den Hag did. Maybe we give it all the Dutch Ajax and bring in the Sporting connected players. I'm joking, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that just yet, about bringing someone else in to do that job. We have to plan and do it properly. And I think this would have been done beforehand. So what do we need in January? Have we got money for one? All right. What do we need? Do we need to get rid of players? What can we do? But I think there should be, after all this is going on, and it seems like we're a bit vulnerable at the moment, what there should be, the next thing they should do right now is make a statement to the fans about things, rather than having a go and saying all these things coming out. Make a statement directed to the Man United fan base, because our roof is leaking. It's embarrassing. We're losing big games. We're 6 months into a project with Ineos and all that kind of thing. They should make a statement and say, look, guys, unfortunately, this has happened. We don't have the finances to go through. Just be patient with us. As a fan base, you fans are the best in the world. We want to move forward. We want to be the best in class, but it's going to take time. And I think that way, if the fans know they've got to be patient, then it might take the pressure off. Because at the moment, we're losing games like we did on Saturday, and we're disappointed. But if the expectation is lowered, as we know, because there's more transparency about what's going on with the club to fix the club, then I think the fan base might be more accepting of stupid results like on the weekend.
Well, he did that literally this weekend. He spoke to United We Stand, the fanzine.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
I haven't read all of it, but
you're right.
Like, and he has spoken to the 1958.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've sort of spoken to all things. But what you're suggesting is like maybe something like MUTV, like sort of like, I don't know, like a sort of a State of the Union address or something.
Or do a Kevin Keegan like he did on the stairwell at Newcastle when he sold Andy Cole to Man United. Just take it, just get a megaphone out and just say it to the fans.
My problem with Ratcliffe is, all right, yeah, you need to save money, you need to clean up the Glazers' mess, but then the first thing you're gonna go and do is raise the ticket prices. What he needs to do is address the squad and get rid of some of the bums out of the team. Simple as that. That's what he should be doing.
Yeah, but he's hired people to do that. I think that's more. He's hired people. He can't do that himself, so he's hired the people who he feels can do it. So he's got to let them get on with their job to a certain extent, I mean, Jim, we deserve better saying cancelling Christmas. What's cancelling Christmas? What's
Christmas party?
Whose Christmas party? The staff Christmas party?
Staff Christmas party.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That's my minor.
No, it's not. You can't cancel a Christmas. You can't cancel the Star Christmas party. That's sacrilege.
He don't care. He doesn't care.
I think
Business
he does.
never personal.
I think he does, Tyrone. I think like what we deserve better, I think, is saying here is that he understands that doing these things is disastrous and not what he wants to be doing, but his hand is kind of forced on it. I mean, I always rated Jim because when he came in, the one quote he said that really stuck out to me was that he was appalled like how messy like everyone's desk was and things like that. And I'm a big fan of keeping things tidy and organized, healthy, you know, like clean room, clean mind. And I think that like Ratcliffe I think we've been a little bit done by Brailsford's marginal gains. Like everyone thinks like just a couple of little improvements, a little bit over time, it gets us there. I think Ratcliffe is someone who doesn't want to hang around. And this is why I think that he might get on with Amrin, because Amrin has also said something quite similar about how we're going to have to take short-term pain with a lot of bad stuff coming our way before we get back in. Yeah, but and that's the thing. Is like, what do you want Ratcliffe to do? We are going to fail FFP next year unless we make these cuts.
I think they're going to fail. So maybe this is what he should be telling people then. That's why, because like Yabba said, I think
that's illegal.
Earlier on. Oh, we can't say okay then.
Yeah, because we're still publicly listed.
Okay, fair enough. But like Yabba said, the fact that they've got rid of, you know, they've cut the disabled and the kids' ticket prices, although the stadium was still sold out, so it didn't seem to affect what they were doing. I forgot the point I was making. I shouldn't have drifted off. Oh, it's gone. It'll come back to me. It'll come back.
Something just popped up on the screen. Apparently, Man City have been charged. Sorry to interrupt.
Have they?
Have they?
Yeah. If someone wants to just quickly check on Sky Sports, I think they might have been charged. It just popped up.
I'll check on Twitter now.
Oh, I tell you.
Well, did you hear the other day they were talking about there could be a new law or ruling to say clubs like Newcastle and Man City, they're state-owned, won't be allowed anymore. So
yeah, but the horse has already bolted. What's the point? What they're going to do?
I know, but it seems to be something stirring. Something's definitely stirring behind the scenes, you know, with this decision making. I've seen Everton take a slap and what kind of thing, but Man City are yet to take a check the CFAX. Man City are yet to take a slap. They're the legal team and everything, but something's stirring behind the scenes, and I'm sure with this news coming up, you know, people know. And this is why I think Man City is so poor right now, because I think the players must know something. This is the unspoken thing that something's going to go against them, which could be quite serious, you know, and damning towards them. Otherwise, I think they'd be flying high right now with the team they've got still. But yeah, it's really interesting to see.
No, Pep's on burnout. It's got nothing to do with the charges. Don't give them no kudos, making the players think that there's something else. No, they've been playing.
Well,
shit.
no, I'm with Yabba on this. It's like,
oh, you would be.
Yeah, but I'm going to cite economic theory. Why I'm with Yabba on it,
then come on then.
Which is endgame theory, which is that like people will work together, like when there is when their interests are tied. But the nearer that you get to like a parting of the ways, the less you work in each other's interests. And I think that the City players, like Edison hasn't featured for a long time, and I know there are a lot of rumours that Edison like smacked Pep up, but Edison was like denied a move to Saudi Arabia in the summer for, you know, generational wealth, and he will be absolutely livid with Pep and what is going on and so on. De Bruyne has seen his international career, like, you know, as part of a golden generation, slip away from him. And all these players will be thinking, because they're old as well, they never refresh the squad. They'll all be thinking like about their legacy and stuff. And when Pep starts baiting Jose Mourinho and Jose comes out and says, yeah, Pep's got 6 titles, but I've got 3 that were won cleanly and I didn't need an army of lawyers to deal with it. Like, it kind of gets in their head a little bit. And I think that like we can all enjoy Man City's downfall, Mr. B, without arguing about why it's happening. But I've just checked Twitter. There's nothing, Tyrone, about the charges that I can
I don't know
see.
what that was. Something popped up. I don't know what it was. Sorry.
You've been punked. You've been punked. Someone's set you up there. But it will happen. I'm with you, Tyron. I think it will happen eventually. There's going to hear something about that. But like I say, we're talking about Man U and the plight of us at the moment. I mean, when you look at it, 13th. Just what Tyron mentioned something earlier in the show, and Ten Hag can get a tune out of him, and we ended up 8th last season. I think we finished 8th. I don't think we've ended up 13th. I think we're better than that. But like we were saying with Man City, the players have got no incentive. They probably know something's wrong, or they're not really bothered. I think it's the same applies with Man United. We're not challenging for things. The players aren't up for it. They know they're not going to be made accountable for things. So what have they really got to play for, at the moment? I'm watching, games, other games. I'm seeing players going the extra mile. I saw, in the game at the weekend, we were losing, there's a few minutes left, and Rashford got the ball and ran over to the corner flag as if to say, look at me, I'm showing a bit of urgency here, and I'm thinking, a bit late for that. We need, it's all right showing these sort of signs like that, but it's not good enough in my opinion. So the players, just like Man City and teams that are on the slide, or say a team like Leicester or struggling relegation, you have to sort of find a way to get the best out of them, some motivation, some incentive for them to be on board and together, have that togetherness, and that way you get results. And that's what Amron's got to do right now. Forget about all this stuff. Dan Ashworth and all this kind of thing. Focus on the football side down, and let's now, after that poor result, turn this around and start the wheels turning, just as he did at Sporting in his first season. To turn them around, and by the following season they were a better outfit. Might take longer before we win the titles, but I still trust in the manager. I still think the players that we've got in the moment can do a job, reasonable job, and improve on that. We talk about marginal gains. I think we will. You said it, Mr. B. You're chuckling there, but you said it. Playing Arsenal, you weren't too bothered about losing to them now. But if we lose to them in March, when we've had marginal gains by that point, then you might have an issue with it. But I think we show a better performance in the coming weeks and months under the new manager. So give him time to inspire the players. It's something where the difference between him and Ten Hag is I think he's got the ability to inspire the players and get spark on them. That's where we're going to see something different. Marginal gains in losing to Forest and actually getting a result.
You're not inspiring players if you're losing games. It doesn't matter what they're doing in training or what they're saying in training. I think if you're not winning, training could be great. But if what you are telling them in training doesn't come out onto the pitch to wins, he's going to lose them. It's individual errors. I mean, the Onana goal, people are talking about the Bruno wasted pass. Fine. But no way on God's green earth should that ball be going in past Onana, So individual errors at the moment are costing maybe the results. So take the individual errors out, but I'm not sure. I worry. I'm glad there wasn't a bounce. As in, they've gone on this 4-game winning run, because you already know these players do this all the time. Now, I think he's able to work out honestly without having the falsehood of these results and these players running around training like they're on acid, that he can actually see in game and after game, players' demeanor, stuff like that, how they are in the changing room. I think he's able to see this more now. So maybe this way, long term will be better. But Jesus, man, I'll be honest. I want us to win some. I want us to win. I want to be happy. I want to be able to watch Match of the Day, smiling that we've won a game, and to come out of that Facebook bloody cave. You know what I mean? It's not funny.
He's got to find the first 11 as soon as possible.
I take the banter in, and you take it seriously. And to be fair, I'm glad that he's coming. Right, and how long? There was something saying that he thinks he knows his first 11. Does he then give it another 2 weeks of taking licks before he decides what his first 11 is? Or does he? Because he can't play his first 11 both. He can't play his first 11 Premier League and Europa. So now he has to decide, forget the rotation, forget the minutes that these players have. He needs to be prioritize. He needs to the games. And this is the part that I'm worried about. That if he does know his first team, I think our best chance of getting anything is Europa. 100. To be honest,
So hang on, what are you saying? Are you saying that you want like a dirt tracker squad that like he puts out in the Premier League and then he saves his best 11 for the Europa League?
No, I would rather he does it for the Premier League. No, I'd rather he does it for the Premier League, to be fair. But I think our best option to get anything to get into Europe would be the Europa.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is, are you suggesting that he splits the squad?
No.
Okay.
I want him to play his best. I want him to play his best team for the Premier League. But I don't think that is our best option to get into Europe, to get European football next season. That's all. I would never want to sacrifice Premier League position. Imagine if we finish in 13th and we win Europa. Oh, fantastic. We got Champions League football, but we finished in 13th. You know what I mean? Yeah. What does that do for him next season? Nothing.
Well, more money.
For the club to spunk.
Yeah, but like, look, I mean, the thing is that like what it really comes down to, I think, for a lot of people, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Tyrone, is that we're sick to death of quite a lot of the players. Like, they're paid too much money for what they do. We've seen them perform, like, basically it's about the 8th or 9th best squad in the Premier League for like about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I think that the test for Amorim is, does he fall under the spell that Rashford casts, that we've seen all the managers fall under? Does he fall under the spell that Bruno casts? Because your best hope of doing well in the Premier League in recent history is getting is basically trying to get the best out of Rashford and Bruno. That is traditionally how we've done well in the last couple of years. Is it now that what we've got to do is move away from sort of Brunoism, like as him as being our great hope, and put out a more functional, athletic football team? And we've really got to grind our way back up the league. And I don't mean this season, I mean over a couple of seasons, and then have sensible recruitment coming in. Because personally, for me, Tyrone, I think that we've tried to you know that expression, like your eyes are bigger than your stomach?
Yeah.
Like, I think with players, our eyes are bigger than our stomach. And we always try and, like Luis Suarez came in and turned Liverpool from a mid-table team into like contenders.
Yeah.
I think we've had this obsession that just one or two players fixes us, instead of like just kind of properly planning out the squad by looking at what's in the youth and all that kind of stuff. Like that. That's what I think needs to happen. I think we need to kind of slow down, trim the fat, and make marginal gains, I guess.
So don't you think that's what he's trying to do?
Sacrifice?
No, you know, before Bruno Fernandes signed his big contract, I was one of the few people in the group to say, you know what I mean, it might be worth sacrificing him and investing the money somewhere else. But a lot of people were like, no, we can't get rid of Bruno. But I would have. Not that he's a bad player, but sometimes you've got to make like really big sacrifices for the good of the team.
Yeah, but do you think he was the sacrifice that should be made? There's other players, I'll be honest.
It would have been Rashford for me. You know, I'm not Rashford's biggest fan. It would have been him.
It's a money thing.
I think,
The Bruno contract, I'm all right with, because to be honest, I think it's really difficult to replace a lot of what Bruno has. And I mean, his availability, he's the club captain, he's universally popular. He's got all the building blocks, the foundations to be a good player. He's shown he can handle the physicality of the Premier League. all that kind of stuff. I think that's really difficult to replace. For me, the contract to Rashford was really silly.
Ridiculous.
And then you get on to the Casemiros and the Ericssons, which were just very, very silly signings. But I don't know where I stand on Bruno, because I think he is our best player, and I think he is the guy that has shown that he can unlock like the best defenses in the world. Like, it's like even the FA Cup final, it's his pass that gets gets Kobe in for the winner. And the only other thing we did in that game is that, was it Gvardiol who just like had a brain fart and kicked it to Garnacho? Like, it was Bruno that made something happen in that game. But also, we have relied on him for far, far too long, and we haven't been able to kind of.
Yeah,
You look at Liverpool; they've rebuilt their midfield. You look at Chelsea; what they've done. Like, I don't know where I stand on Bruno, to be honest.
I don't think he's irreplaceable. I don't think any player is irreplaceable, to be honest. I've seen bigger players at Man United leave Man United, and we've still like got stronger. He's a good player, but he's not like one of the greatest players I've seen leave.
Who'd you replace him with?
Who, Bruno? From our squad?
If he's not irreplaceable, who would you replace him with? Like, for less, as it were.
I would have gone for that Bayer Leverkusen player. What's his name?
Wirtz?
That's it. I would have replaced him with Florian Wirtz. Yeah.
An untested like player coming into the Premier League. We don't know anything about his injury record. Like, look at Timo Werner. Like, look at Havertz. They came in with huge reputations. Look at Sancho. Came in with a huge reputation from Germany. Is that the yardstick?
You've got to, like, we didn't know who Cristiano Ronaldo was when we bought him in, like, what was it? Was it 2003 he came in? We didn't know about him.
Sometimes you've got to buy young players and believe in them. Was he? Really?
No, he wasn't. But sometimes you've got to buy these young players and, like, build them up. That's what Manchester United have always been known for. We've not always been known for buying superstars. Yeah,
but that's very different to saying that you would replace Bruno with Florian Wirtz.
He's a good player in my eyes. Maybe
he would. I mean, if a Musiala would have been one that I'd have been much more behind. But
no, I like Musiala, but he wouldn't. I don't think that's a realistic sign.
Yeah, but do you see what I mean? Is that when you talk about a player like Ronaldo coming in, I know he came in the same season that Bex left, but he wasn't like Bex's replacement, as it were, and he was given, sort of time to develop, and I'm not sure that we have that time to let players like develop. I mean, maybe you're right, and maybe we should put Yoro, Garnacho, Mainu, and get a young team and grow them.
That's what
over 3 or 4 years. But you've got to remember that like the physical load of the Premier League is unreal, and someone like Bruno and someone like Dalot and hopefully someone like Maz are gold dust, because they're basically able to play every single game, and you can depend on them for, let's be really generous and say, at least a 6 out of 10, like each week. And especially when one is your club captain and has been the soul of the team for 4 or 5 years. I don't know if Florian Wirtz, bringing him in, like, if that can even get half of what Bruno sort of gives the squad.
But the question was Bruno or Rashford, and I think you covered Bruno. I do agree with you. I don't think Bruno should be leaving anytime soon. But Rashford is someone that we could have got good money for. I think he's still quite valuable, and I don't think he offers enough. Bruno gives a lot more than Rashford does. Everyone's talking about that 30-goal season, but then he didn't score after February. I don't think that many goals. He's hot and cold. He's not consistent enough, I don't think. And you're talking about levels. Where was he? Where is he? You just don't know from one game to the next. Got a brace the other day against a weak opposition, and then we're looking for him to step up, and we always seem to be disappointed. So I think someone like Rashford, when Tyrone's talking about sacrifice, my sacrifice would be Rashford. He's the one who would be out the door before.
Yeah, but sacrifices are normally things that Rashford deserves to go. You don't talk sacrifices. Are things that maybe people don't deserve. You've sacrificed your blah blah blah. He deserves to go. I like Rashford. I've always liked Rashford, and nothing sweets me more than when he scores. It does, but at the same time, he's not performing. He's
So
not
Rashford
performing.
is a necessity, and Bruno is a sacrifice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Mr. B? That Rashford has to go, so it's
Yes.
not a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But Bruno is the one that needs to be sacrificed.
Yes. I would say yeah. That's how I would put it. Yeah.
Is there anyone else that is? I mean, like, do you think Garnacho could be a sacrifice financially? He's probably the player that we could get. He's the easiest to sell, most money.
What do you get for Garnacho? Because
45, 50?
I don't. Who pays 45 for Garnacho? Another Premier League team. He's not going to go Premier League. Atletico ain't going to spend that on him. He can't go Germany. He's definitely not going Italy. So that would leave.
No, he doesn't do it.
We don't sell Garnacho. We've got Casemiro, we've got Ericsson, we've got
Rashford. But they're going to leave. No. Casemiro, Ericsson is up, free transfer.
Yeah.
Casemiro, you can't sell him. He does nothing and he's on 350 grand a week. So unless they're going to go and pay him off, which means that they've lost more money again, he doesn't go.
That's what they've got to do, though. They've got to start buying up the contracts. They have to.
Okay, so where
can't financially do it.
Yeah, where does the money come from?
So it comes out of FFP and transfer budgets.
You'll be done. We'll be finished. You got Sancho's already gone for part of the money. They sold half of the kids that got 20 minutes here and there just to get their name out there to show that they can kick a ball. They were gone. We got rid of Scott McTominay, who Ten Hag wanted to keep, who he actually wanted to keep and was forced to sell for 40 million. Do you know what I mean? So you got to think. I don't think they've got the money that they can just pay up. And as Bath Time says, FFP, this is the part that they're really, really worried about. That's if you notice, hardly anybody spent any money in this transfer window because everybody was worried. I think United are more worried than everybody else because they know the money that they spent. They're in deep. They're running it really, really tightly.
Hence why you don't need Dan Ashworth, because maybe we won't be making signings, but we do need. Like I said, we're talking about players, about getting rid of players. The players that would be on a chopping board for me would be Casemiro. It's someone's job to learn to get rid of him, sell him to Saudi Arabia or something, get him off the wage bill. Ericsson, get him off the wage bill, and then you've got other players in and around like Rashford, which is a necessity, as you say. Luke Shaw, quite possibly. You've got so many good left backs coming through in the academy. It doesn't matter as long as they sold. Look, we sold and lost. That's what we tend to do. So we talk about Wan-Bissaka. We got him for 50 million. We sold him at loss. We might have to do that.
But right. This is. I think the point me and Mr. B are making, right, is that there are players that have to go, and these are your Casemiros and your Ericsson.
That's right. I'm identifying them. Yeah.
But we're talking about a sacrifice, and by the criteria, the sacrifice would be a homegrown player. Well, not a homegrown player, but a pure profit player. Like basically, this McTominay was the sacrifice like this summer. And of the players there's got to be appetite for these players that we're going to sacrifice. That's where they're the sacrifice. And Kobe and Garnacho are probably the players that will have the most interest on the market and will be the easiest to sell. So we're not saying that Garnacho should be the first person out of the door. It's that he's the person that we can sell for the most amount of money, the easiest. And that's why he would be the sacrifice. So when you look at our squad, I think Delo, we can probably sell him quite easily. People would want Delo. People would probably want Garnacho. But who wants Luke Shaw? Who wants Rashford? Who wants Casemiro? Who wants Ericsson? No one. There's no appetite from the market there. So it doesn't we all know those players have to go, but who is the valuable person to the team that you would sell?
Rashford would be the one, but I would really be against sending Garnacho or Kobe. As with Bet saying there, you don't want to be going, don't go breaking my heart, Elton John's thing, because we keep saying sacrifice. That's a good one, by the way. And Kobe and Garnacho are the two players I think we should avoid trying to sell. If we want to move forward. Mr. B mentioned earlier about going forward with these young players, and we just signed a young academy player, grassroots player today, 16 years old, who's wasn't at a club, but he's really impressed. And he said, imagine that, he's been wanted, he was touted after by all these great clubs. And once again, just like Obi from Arsenal, he's chosen us, because whatever's been sold to these guys about Man United at the moment, at that level, there's a way into a great club and a great academy. He says it's the best academy out there. This is what was said in the report. So it just shows you that we're building something. It's not all doom and gloom. The first team, they're not performing, but beyond that, we've got Yoro, one of the best players in there. We've got Garnacho, we've got Kobe, we've got the left back, then we've got Lacey, we've got so many talented young players. Collier,
Kobe Collier,
yeah. We've got, when you look at, there's so many coming through, and that will be the foundation of what we're trying to build on at the moment. It's just that the first team aren't performing, but in years to come, if we with a reputation we've got with that academy, again, that could be our something to fall back on, just like it did with Fergie, who came in '86, wasn't performing well, and then he relied on his academy to save him because he made that foundation from the start.
That's a beautiful way of avoiding the question. I'll give you respect for bringing up under 15 signings and
I've been watching
30 in
time.
1986. That's absolutely world class, Yabba.
Thank you.
But do you understand what we're saying about the sacrifice, like with the financial stuff?
I do, but I've just named what I'm saying is I've just named a number of players. Casemiro, Eriksen,
none of them can be sold.
Rashford would be Sacco, because
we might Rashford on 300k a week.
Paris Saint-Germain or
one team. Do you think they're stupid?
Well, they've wanted him for some period of time, haven't they?
Yeah, but what, for 370, 315 or 350?
Who's paying Sancho's wages?
Chelsea are.
Well, Chelsea are, aren't they?
Chelsea are.
So how much is he on?
About 300.
Yeah, but then they're going to get him for 25 mil.
So you can't. Yeah, well, that's a loss. But his wages going to get paid. So this is someone that you're saying who could sign a player who's on that sort of money. It can be done. Sancho's been sold. He's doing all right. Chelsea, they're second in the league. He scored yesterday. And he's skinning teeth right now.
Do you think anywhere Rashford goes, he gets back to the level that he was 2.5 years ago?
Well, that's what his agent has to convince clubs of.
His brother.
Oh, is that his brother? I don't know. I thought his brother was a young Arsenal player. Did you see that the other day?
Yeah, I saw that.
But right. If there's only right, so would you say that like I don't think Rashford would want to move to any club like in England. I think that he would have to move abroad. He makes too much about being a Manchester lad to go and play for Chelsea or something. If there's only one club that wants him, that kind of means that we're going to get done on the negotiations because we want to sell him. So we're not actually going to get like a huge chunk of money from it. What I think is going to happen is that we are definitely going to have to lose Diego Dalot at the end of this season if we finish where I think we'll finish between 6th and 10th and not win Europa. And because we've got a manager in, and I like the manager, and I like the idea behind it, but it's a stupid decision because for a club that has no money to move away from a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 that they've recruited for 10 years to go to a 3-5-2 or a 3-4 whatever, but have no money, that doesn't make sense to me because it's going to be square pegs and round holes.
So have they bought their own manager?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tyrone! Unless it's gone past 10 o'clock, Tyrone.
Unless you sell Garnacho. If you sell Garnacho for 45-50 million, that gives you about 200. That gives you about 200 million in transfer fees that you can spend to finance the rebuild, and you're not going to get you're going to get maybe 20 million from Rashford after wages and things like that are done. It's Garnacho and Dalot are going to be the people that have to finance the rebuild for Amorim.
So that's 100. That's only 100 million.
Yeah, but it's because it's pure profit and the way accountancy works, we can spread that out. So if 200 million we spent this summer, and a huge amount of it came from the fact that we got 30 million pure profit for McTominay
and what's his name?
Alvarez and
Greenwood and Greenwood.
Yeah, no, not Wan-Bissaka because he's not pure profit. Greenwood was pure profit. So looking at that, so we got about let's say we got 60 million in pure profit from the academy players we sold. We've got to do that again to give Amorim the funds to recruit for this system. And I think I'm not sure if Diego Dalot counts as an academy player. I wouldn't think we got him at 19, I think, so he wouldn't.
But
so
but we've had him long enough for whatever we make to kind of be profit, though, no?
Yeah,
in regards to the contract that we had given him and paid out that first whatever we paid for him, those first 5 years of his contract. He's now on the second 5 years. So whatever we kind of make from him, it's not necessarily profit,
pure profit.
Pure profit, but it would still be profit technically.
Okay. But I think that so if you want to back Amorim, which I kind of do, I like Amorim and I like what he's doing. Okay. If you want to back Amorim, you need to back him with funds. And these can only in my mind, there's only 3 players that we can get good profit on, and it's Kobe, Garnacho, and Dalot.
They would burn down They would burn down Old Trafford. They wouldn't even have to knock it down.
He's put ticket prices up to 66 quid. He's
but the stadium is still rammed half time, and this is the problem. How much people did they have in the stadium?
I don't know. Let's say 73,000.
And we hold normally 76.
Yeah. All right, get the calculator out.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not going to get the calculator out. But go ahead anyway.
I think if you want to back Amorim, and it's a hard truth, we need to sell Garnacho and we need to sell Dalot, and then we need to recruit good physical boys to play in that system.
That's one option.
I can't see any any other clubs wanting to buy Garnacho for the money you're saying.
Do you not think so? He's in the golden boy list. He's regarded as a top 10 talent in Europe, and we signed a defender on that list for 40 million from France. It wouldn't surprise me if Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, it really wouldn't surprise me if they committed 50 million to someone like Garnacho.
Yeah, but he wouldn't get in the team. He doesn't get into Real Madrid. They've got Mbappe half playing on that side and Vinicius Jr. They're not spending 50 million. Barca are going to win their league without Garnacho or a Garnacho. I just don't see anybody paying that money for him half time.
I think these players are better than what they are.
Yeah. Can I just say, Bath time spent last 5-10 minutes giving his one option, which he has backed with his little summary. It's not the only option.
What's the other option?
There's other options too. We stick with what we got. Okay, you're talking about you want to bet, because the whole point is you want to back the new manager with cash and money. Okay. Well, how about the manager understands the situation the club's in and says, look, work with the players we've got, and then we could not be able to sell anyone to give you players you want to come in. Just work with we've got a good youth set up, which I suggested earlier, and start to develop and bring his players in. And with the onus that we know, or this is what I'm saying earlier about making some clarity, make a statement to the fans that it's going to take longer. I know Ratcliffe is getting older, hasn't got time, but we have to be realistic. We've got Bath Time's option where we sell some of our great young talent, or we say to the manager, sorry, we haven't got the funds for you right now because of issues and because of what's gone down, but can you please work with this team as you're doing, get them to learn the new system, all right? We brought you in for that. You stick with your system, you play, develop the players in this role. We do it throughout the club, and in a year or so, everyone will be on point, as you proved at Sporting Lisbon. You've done the same thing there. So there's the evidence that you can do it. So can you do that again with us, please, without the major funds? We've got good players who just need, to be developed properly. And in a year's time, all these players without Premiership experience, like we talked about De Ligt earlier on the show, like we talked about Euro earlier in the show, and all these other guys coming in who in a year's time, they'll be much better and more equipped to deal with it. And then we won't be losing stupid games at home to Nottingham Forest.
I think you're living in cuckoo land if you think that that's going to happen. Like the players have shown the level that they've been at, and at the very, very best, they're the cup team. Like I think it's romantic, and I like the idea of kicking Ericsson and Casemiro out and playing Fletcher and Collier and people like that in the team. But I don't think it's sustainable. For one thing, to
Alan Hansen.
Yeah, you never win anything with kids. That's very true. But they were coming. The situation was different, yeah. But they're coming in to a double winning team.
Yeah, true.
Like with players like Cantona, like knocking about and stuff, and we don't have. I mean, do you think they're all going to come in? Look at Rasmus Højlund practicing Gladiator and go, yes.
Yeah.
What was with that celebration as well? Oh my god!
Oh, do you know what annoyed me, Tyrone? Is he did it at 1-1.
Oh, what a dick! Sorry, but
yeah.
He never gets it right, does he? His first tweet about him spending so long celebrating his first whatever celebration he did when he came back. He just doesn't read the room right, does he? God bless him.
No, but the celebration that makes me laugh with Højlund was when he was showing the fans his name. He was pointing to the name on the shirt, and I thought, mate, you're not on that guy. What are you doing?
Yeah. My favourite was, do you remember when it turned out that Anthony had hired a photographer to take pictures of his goal celebration, and the photographer had been waiting 6 months? He took Sonic the Hedgehog out and was running around a bit. like that. But I know what you mean, Yabba, and I know what I'm saying is very unpalatable. But I genuinely, I think if you've got this manager in, like, you got to back him with players, and we've got no money. Like we're gonna, I mean, we're doing something very stupid, which is we're trying to build a new stadium at the same time as we build a new squad. I genuinely think that, like, and also you got to remember, Garnacho's. Not only is he not playing well, he's always been a little bit difficult. He's very immature. Like, do you remember he was liking tweets about Eric Ten Hag taking him off, and then he's liked something about Lisandro Martinez throwing the ring into Mount Doom or being a hobbit or whatever it was. I don't know if, like, I mean, I think that Garnacho is our best route to money, basically, and we need to give the manager money, or what's the point in getting him? We could have got anyone else who plays a 4-4-2 variant, but we've gone for someone who plays a 3 at the back.
I'd be more disappointed if Delo left than Garnacho. It might shock a few people, but yeah, if he had to be sacrificed, I'd let him go.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Garnacho. I don't have a problem with Garnacho being sacrificed. I have no problem. I think that we can find a better player who will get in the positions and get their head up and pass.
Any more on John Puns? We keep saying sacrifice. Come on.
Bro. I don't know no fucking Elton John songs.
Why not, Mr. B?
Not my thing.
Well, I love Elton John.
Yeah,
Rocket Man. Brilliant. Crocodile Rock.
There's nothing that he sung that will ever get me off my seat, mate. I tell you.
Yeah,
nothing.
Lion King.
So
Surely.
you're still
Circle
standing.
of Life.
Oh, fucking hell. Yo, you see when the other starts with this shit, it's time to go in it. I already know his brain's drifted off to somewhere completely different now. And you lot in the chat, I know
It's 20 past.
I know it's you. We deserve better. Yeah, throwing in all of these bloody puns. I know it's you. Yeah, look, bloody talk about money, and all of this. It's a rich man's world. That's bloody. I know that's.
ABBA.
I know that. I know that much. I know that much. Yes, it is. We are lacking the notch in a minute, Jeff. Look, we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully we've kind of cleared our mind on the Astro. I think there's going to be more things coming out tomorrow. I think
Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. Well, look, we can do. Yeah, that maybe that'll be tomorrow. Now I ain't talking about him now, and my belly's rumbling. I can hear it from here. So
is it sounding like Elton John?
He's blind now, though, isn't he?
What?
Who?
He's blind, Elton John. He's blind now.
Seems to know a lot about Elton John.
That's not a bullshit. Yeah, they were talking about it. Oh, fuck off, bastard. They were talking about it on. They were talking about it on. What's his name? Talk Sport. It was on the news. It was on the news thing. He had the news thing. He was saying that he went to some show the other day. And he said, "Oh, I can't see you, but you sound wonderful." And everybody went, "Hey!"
Oh wow.
Huh. You know,
what about signing
on the ball?
Are we signing that guy Ninakita?
Oh,
Who?
God's sake! What is this, Yakko?
It's time to
Nikita, you the only one.
It's time to go, guys.
This train is stopping.
Sorry, see, I ain't got my manners. Tyrone, where can we find you, man?
You can see me on Twitter. I'm at T-Side 2018.
T-Side 2018. If you didn't hear what he said, that's T-Side 2018. I'll give you time so you could abuse him. T-Side.
Can I just say something?
20. No. Go on.
Just quickly, Tyra, did you win an award the other day or something?
What picture?
Looked like acting school or something. You won some award. You were smiling, skin and teeth hard.
Where did you see it? Was it on Facebook?
Facebook, maybe, yeah.
No, I did filming on Sunday. I did some filming on Sunday.
Okay, wicked.
Might have been that, yeah.
We hope to see you soon on the big screen rather than this low-key YouTube channel.
Bloody cheat.
This channel's not low-key. This is one of the best channels on YouTube, man. Come on.
Bam! Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lined that up well. So look, now it is time to go. It's like a notch from me.
It's like a notch from me.
Like a notch, everybody.
See you, Jimmy. Like a notch.